All right, good evening and welcome to Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge. Hi, everybody. I am Mark Thompson, along with the High Performance Director of USA Table Tennis, Sean O'Neill, and we find ourselves, Sean, in a similar position that we were last week as well. Team Nataku with their proverbial back to the wall. Got to win tonight if you want to push this to Week 10. We're in Week 9. Right now, it is Team Butterfly in the lead. 5 matches to the 3, won by Team Nataku. And that is thanks in large part big victory last week at the ICC facility where we are again in Milpitas, California by Ved Chef as he held off Joanna Song to keep Team Nataku alive for this Week 9.
Ved really played outstanding. He played up to the table. He really went toe-to-toe with Joanna. Good concentration. Just an outstanding performance by both players.
And we're going to have an outstanding match, I would presume, tonight. We have the twin sister of Joanna's Song, and that is Rachel Song. Not exactly identical twins in many different ways, but one way is that she plays from the other side, Sean. She's a lefty and very accomplished player at that, playing tonight against Aziz Zarehbin. And Aziz is one of those players who's a bit, I would say, unpredictable. We could get a little bit of everything from Aziz tonight, but one thing that he has shown in the past, not afraid of the big stage, and this is a kid that's won some big matches.
Well, I like the contrast between these two players. With Rachel, she's going to stay up to the table, really play out of the backhand corner, and look for Aziz to really bring everything. He plays great from the backcourt. He's got good serve return. I really anticipate just a wide-ranging match with a lot of momentum shifts.
Yeah, Aziz Zarehbin comes in, his current USATT rating at 2388 out of Alameda, California, just 14 years of age, he'll be 15 in December. We were talking about it off the air, but he actually won the silver medal in the 2019 U.S. Nationals, going all the way to the final. He had to beat Nick Tito to get there. I noted it earlier, but Aziz Zarehbin is a young man who has won big matches before. I don't think he's afraid to be in the big stage of Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge tonight.
He really plays his best the stronger the opponent. Now, of course, with Rachel, she got to the finals of women's singles at the U.S. Nationals, and she's represented the United States outstanding internationally. So we've got, again, a classic matchup of styles, but also of experience. And, I mean, I really can't even pick who's the favorite, although slight advantage to Rachel just because of the age difference.
And, of course, if Rachel is able to win tonight, it will win the tournament that we're in, the Thursday Night Live challenge, T2 Challenge, for the Team Butterfly. Rachel Song, 16 years of age, out of Campbell, California. Current USATT rating at 2406. She's been as high as 2489. I noted that, Sean, she is a lefty. You've talked off the air a little bit. You talked about the quality of her form in play, the quality of the strokes that she uses, particularly from the backside, from the backhand side as a left-hander.
Yeah, she's very efficient. Her strokes are very clean. Her backhand is a huge weapon, just like Lily Jung, our national champion. She likes to start her rallies from the backhand side. Her forehand can be very lethal. You don't know where it's going. She steps around her backhand corner and will crack her forehand in. Very good blocking. Aziz, he's just a fighter. I mean, he's all over the court. He can play a drop shot. He can play a lob. He can, whatever he needs to do to win the point, he's willing to scramble. And I think it'll be similar to Ved last week. Can he stay close enough to the table so that his offensive shots have a little bit more to go through Rachel? If Rachel keeps him at bay and off the table, he will be running. He will be getting his road work in. So I think that's going to really be the X factor, is can Aziz stay close enough so that his offensive shots can penetrate?
Of course, a big part of being in the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge event is getting players back in competition. The last competition for Rachel Song, she was at the Olympic trials in Santa Monica in late February, early March. She went 5-6 there, but she won a couple of big matches, including a match against Wang Chen in that particular event. She also beat her sister Joanna. So that is the last time that she's been in action. For young Aziz Zarehbin, the last time he was in action was at ICC in the Yola Spring Open. That was in March as well. And look at the performance there, Sean. He did beat Ved Chef. We talked about Ved Chef and the play he had last week. So Aziz, he's a guy that he's kind of a giant killer in a way. He's a guy that can take the best opponent and come up and surprise them.
And he's been playing big since he was a cadet. I mean, he always has that ability because he's so good at never giving up, keeping the ball in play. Just when you think he's out of the point, he figures a way to get the ball back on the table. And a lot of times the opponent gets surprised, like, oh my gosh, I thought the point was over. So I would assume we'll see some of that tonight. It'll be interesting because I think with Rachel, she's had a built-in practice partner. And with Aziz, his brother Kai, is in Croatia playing. So you've got the siblings in table tennis, and Aziz is at a little bit of a deficit there because older brother who helps pull him along and help him improve, he's in Europe training as part of Team USA. And both these players are members of the national team. That's why this program has been so successful, is we're getting national team members to play in the spotlight, one game or one match, all the marbles, and everyone's been outstanding so far.
Of course, those of you who have been following the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, first of all, thank you. We appreciate it. Appreciate you following along with us here. You know, it is a best of 11. The first team to 6 victories is going to win the event. Right now, Team Butterfly sitting on the 5 wins, Team Nataku with 3 wins. However, when you look at it, Sean, it was Team Butterfly who jumped out to the early lead. They won the first 3 matches, all at Westchester, New York, at the Westchester Table Tennis Center there. Went 3-0, but in 3 of the last 5 matches, it has been Team Nataku bouncing back and winning, including last week's victory for Ved Chef, which was a relatively dominating win for Ved. He lost the first game 11-10, but then came back and ran off 11-6, 11-6, 11-6, 11-7. It was one of those where it seemed like Ved found his footing after that first game last week and was able to essentially take control of the match and beat the twin sister of Rachel Sung, Joanna Sung.
Well, and the thing is, we created an unusual or unique system where the losing player from each match got to choose from the next set of players to play on their team. So going for the NBA parity so that hopefully it would come down to maybe a 5-5. We've still got a couple matches ahead of us if Aziz can win this one. But yeah, it's been interesting to see who the players picked and then how these teams have formed out. We have Team Nataku and Team Butterfly. A lot of these players are playing. They have individual sponsors. They have individual equipment. These have just been 2 of our national sponsors that have really stepped up, and we're trying to give them some extra exposure during this COVID-19 time period. But I mean, it's been really fun to see the team approach for this T2 season.
Yeah, we have highlights from that match last week. I know we'll get to them in just a moment. This is the 7th match of this is the 9th week. 7th match. It's been a battle of the genders, Sean. This was an element that we kind of built in as well for the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge. It's males playing females. And right now, it's 3-3. The females have won 3. The males have won 3. So it has been even on that front as well.
Yeah, the females have really looked good, and we're going to find out who's going to win that battle tonight and if it can be prolonged next week, because it looks like there'll be another female-male matchup if we do go into Los Angeles while the team competition is still up for grabs.
Yeah, this is our 4th and final week at ICC. We want to extend special thanks to Rajul Chef and also to James Goodwin, who is both of whom have done an exceptional job there. You know, Sean, you and I were talking off the air. Westchester, when we had Will Shorts, we down in Manny Velasquez down in Houston. Great work there. We come up to ICC. Of course, we're in Silicon Valley here. Have had great results there. Next week, if we do go there for, if the Seeds wins, we go there for what would be week 10, we'll be at the California Table Tennis Center in Rosemead, California, where Gao Jun is one of our all-time favorites. So I'm not rooting here, but I certainly want to get an opportunity to get down to Los Angeles as well.
I mean, really 4 great cities with New York, with Houston, with ICC in San Francisco, the Milpitas area, and then the opportunity to go to LA. We've really kind of hit the major centers, and we're looking for, even in season 2, to expand to even more clubs and more key locations throughout the U.S.
Yeah, we also want to extend our special thanks to the crew in Singapore at T2. What a great group of people we've been working with T2. A lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Do play under somewhat unique rules, Don. I think my favorite is the fact that there's no deuce. And essentially, 10-10 means we've got a game point on the line. And similarly, if you start games after the 24-minute clock runs under the T2 rule, you just played a 5. Again, no deuce, straight to 5 points. We've seen that impact a number of the matches that we've had at Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge.
It's been absolutely a thrill to work with our team in Singapore. They're on a 12-hour time difference from us, so somebody's always up or it's very late when we're doing things to look at layouts and formats, and it's just been a real treat.
You know, Sean, you are the high performance director at USA Table Tennis. You noted it earlier, but all of the players that we've had in season 1 of the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge have been national team members. And looking at it from your perspective, from the development of your players, how important has this been? How important has it been to get players back in action, back in competition, back in feeling that little pressure? And it's one thing to hit against a robot or play against your sister or your brother or your mom or dad. It's another thing to get out there and have something on the line, which these players do have something on the line.
It definitely provides a nice goal, especially we've got Lily Jung, who's going to go over to the ITTF bubble. It gave her a chance to play against Audi Gadwani. So it's just a quick jump start. I think we're going to get a chance to see some of the highlights now of last week.
Yeah, this was a very impressive match last week between Ved Sheth and also Joanna Sung, held here at ICC in Milpitas, California. 2 young players. Sean, I was impressed with both of the young players, but particularly the strength and power that Ved Sheth showed. For a young man, he showed a lot of very strong play.
Just great experience. I mean, we see both players here on the highlights. Joanna doing a nice job moving the ball around, but you see here Ved just fighting and keeping the ball. He won so many points from the backcourt, and just, again, I think we might see some of this tonight with Aziz, but Ved keeping it into play with multiple lobs and then coming back with the counterattack. Just great play from the very young player.
Yeah, it seemed like he picked his moments on those lobs, when to attack. His serve was very good as well. We see that short serve there that Johanna had a little bit of difficulty handling. I noted it during the match itself, but one thing, just the body language of Ved Sheth reminded me a lot. I hate to say this, to put too much pressure on the kid, but it reminded me a lot of Kanak Ja, the way he plays and the way that he moved around the court. At times, I found myself thinking that it was Kanak at the other end of the table playing Joanna.
Yeah, I mean, Ved just looked like a pro's pro out there, and Joanna was battling, fighting to get her attack going, doing everything she could, but I think it was just really Ved played better that night. I mean, again, you see him backcourt, keeping the ball into play. That was a great smash by Joanna there, getting it to the wide forehand. I really loved her service motion, but I think in the end it was just Ved's night. And then look at that backhand. I mean, that's just a great shot.
Yeah, that was super power right there. You look at it from Joanna's perspective. I thought she played well as well, Sean. One element that I thought she had a little difficulty on was something somewhat surprising, her backhand. It did not look like she controlled it as well as she would have liked. A lot of balls long off the backhand for Joanna Sung, as we see there. Ved Sheth losing game 1, 11-10, but then coming back with 4 consecutive wins, 11-6, 11-6, 11-6, 11-7, to keep Team Nataku alive. But he had a lot of pressure on him. Not only did he have to win to keep Team Nataku alive, he had to even things up for the males. We were kind of feeling it a little bit there. So Ved Sheth brings it back to 3-3 in our battle of the genders.
Yeah, no, he really brought his A game. He played super. And I'm going to just be impressed to see what happens with Sister Rachel and with Aziz tonight. I think this should be an outstanding match.
You know, John, the last 5 matches in a row for us have been a little bit of lopsided affair. I think I've got it down as 4-1, 4-0, 4-1, 4-1, and 4-1 last week. I think I'd like a little bit more tension in the action. That's what broadcasters, we are allowed to root for the game and the tension. I always root for Game 7 in hockey playoffs. I'm rooting for Game 7 in this match tonight as well.
Well, hopefully we'll get to a Fast 5 tonight, and I think we'll have the action starting momentarily.
All right, we'll take a little break here and be back in just a moment. Mark Thompson, Sean O'Neill, Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge. We're at ICC in Milpitas, California. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We've got Aziz Zarehbin playing for Team Nataku, taking on Rachel Sung for Team Butterfly in just a moment. All right, welcome back. Thursday Night Live, the G2 Challenge. Big matchup tonight between Aziz Zarehbin playing for Team Nataku, down 3-5 to Team Butterfly, who could win it all tonight with a victory by young Rachel Sung, just 16 years of age, taking on 14-year-old Aziz Zarehbin at ICC in Milpitas, California. Hi, everybody. I am Mark Thompson, joined by the High Performance Director of USA Table Tennis, Sean O'Neill. Looking forward to what should be an extremely exciting match tonight, Sean.
Two great national team players going toe-to-toe. It's going to be a lefty-righty competition, along with a player who's going to stay up at the table with Rachel, and then expect Aziz to cover a lot of court in the match tonight.
Yeah, if you've been following Thursday Night Live, the G2 Challenge, you know it's a best of 11. That means the first team to 6 victories ends up winning the big prize money. Each of these players are playing for prize money in this match as well. The winner takes $1,000, and the person who comes on the wrong end of the stick still picks up $500 for their efforts tonight. So we're glad to be able to support the athletes of USATT in that regard. Of course, as noted, if Team Butterfly were to lose tonight, Team Nataku wins, we've got more table tennis on the way. We'll be heading down south just a little bit to Los Angeles, California, to the California Table Tennis Center in Rosemead. Our matchup next week, Alex Wu versus Rachel Yang down there. If we get to that point, as noted, it takes 6 victories to win. Wouldn't mind this thing going 5-5 as well. As everybody knows, we play the T2 format in this event, which has been set up to kind of be a TV-friendly format. There is a 24-minute running clock in the T2 format, and that, of course, as we look at the competition regulations, do want to make mention, Sean, of our great captains that we've had. For Team Butterfly, David Sakai, and of course, not ever giving up. Patty Martinez-Wasserman, she is famous for not giving up, for representing Team Nataku, and I know she's rooting for young Aziz Zarehbin tonight.
She never gives up as a player, now as a team captain. We had a couple of good trash-talking sessions with her and David Sakai, so I know that she's glued to the USA Table Tennis website, or on Facebook, or possibly YouTube.
T2 rules coming to us from our good friends in Singapore. Of course, as noted, the 24-minute running clock. Any game that started after the 24-minute clock is a fast 5. You played at just 5 points. There's no deuce, regardless of whether it's a regular game to 11 or a fast 5-5. No deuce whatsoever. It is a best of 7. So the first player to win 4 of the games ends up winning that particular match. The clock continues to run regardless of whether you're in between games. 45 seconds are allowed between games. If you take a timeout, the clock does stop. That's the only time. The umpire, who tonight is Yue Li, they have the opportunity. That individual has the opportunity to stop the clock. We haven't really run into that yet, but if they thought that the umpire thought that there was some intentional delay or some reason to stop the clock, for instance, an injury or something like that, that capacity does rest within the umpire's province and power. Sean, I've really liked playing under the T2 rules. The dynamic of the match certainly changes when you get to fast 5. We've seen strategies. My favorite perhaps was Adar Alguetti, who showed getting out of the gate quickly, being aggressive during the fast 5 is absolutely critical.
And that was after trailing to fight to get his way into it. We've got the tail of the tape here. Mark, why don't you take that?
Yeah, we've got Rachel Sung. She is a lefty and an attacker playing from the shake hand style. And she's got young Aziz Zarehbin, just 14 years of age, out of Alameda, California. He plays from the right side. He, too, an attacker playing from the shake hand side. For Aziz, he's a Yola player. On his forehand rubber, he's got the Golden Tango PS. And on the backhand rubber, he plays with Riser 48. His blade is the Roscoff Emotion. And on the other side, you have young Rachel Sung, playing with Tinergy, the butterfly product, on both sides of hers. Tinergy 05 on both sides. And she plays with the paddle Zhang GK, the Super SCLC. I think I got that right, John.
Awesome.
On the Zhang GK blade played by young Rachel Sung.
And what we will be doing is after the season is over, we will be giving complete rundowns of all the players' equipment. So if you've liked what you've seen out there and you want to emulate some of our national team members, you'll have a chance to pick up exactly the blades and the rubber sheets that they're using. So we're right about to start.
Players coming out right now. As noted, it is a best of 7, so the first player to win 4 games will win. In the court closest to us, it will be Aziz Zarehbin. And on the far side, the left-handed Rachel Sung. And Rachel, of course, has won some big matches herself. Sean noted earlier she went all the way to the finals in the 2019 U.S. National, was knocked out by Lily Zhang, who also, of course, played in this event. And in 2017, Rachel actually won her first international title. She won the ITTF Italian Cadet Open, the girls single. That's a big win to win on the international stage, Sean, and perhaps that's the reason that the ITTF has provided a stipend for young Rachel Sung to support her career. So we are underway with ICC in California, and the first point does go to Rachel Sung.
And of course, we have the timer clock with the 24-minute countdown. We need to keep an eye on that probably around game 3 to see where that stands.
Rachel takes an early 2-0 lead here, and will take the serve as well. From the far court, Rachel Sung. Aziz is on the board here as that went long on the backhand by Rachel Sung, 2-1.
And there's a lucky back edge. But again, Rachel loves to push the ball deep and get a softer opening for her to counterattack.
Goes wide as Aziz Zarehbin is within 1 now at 3-2 here in game 1, the best of 7. An interesting serve that time by Aziz. Lots of spin on it, caught the top of the net. It's a let serve, however.
And Aziz has to be careful. That's exactly what Rachel wants to have happen, where she gets the opening, shoves him off the table, keeps him on the backhand side, then just keeps putting a lot of pressure.
Now opening up a 5-2 lead here in game 1 is Rachel Sung as that shot went long. The serve comes over to Aziz Zarehbin.
And again, Rachel, that's her trademark backhand opening. A lot of spin down the line as a lefty. They like to control that angle, staying away from the opponent's forehand.
Rachel hanging in with some nice forehands that time and has now opened up a 6-point lead here in game 1 at 8-2 with the serve.
Very well placed deep serve right into the elbow area. Rachel's applying not only pressure with the speed, but also with placement. Nice opening there by Aziz. Heavy topspin on that forehand.
That ends up going long, so it's 10-3 in game point here for Rachel Sung. And it looks like she takes that one as well there, Sean. Game 1 does go to Rachel Sung at 11-3, so a dominating first game for young Rachel Sung against Aziz Zarehbin, who's going to go back to the corner and kind of rethink the strategy a bit.
And that might have been the fastest game that we've had in the Fast 5 T2 format. I mean, that was like a 4-minute game. So, yeah, that was very impressive. Again, Aziz is going to have to get his forehand going, more balls wide out to Rachel's forehand to get her out of that comfort zone of that backhand to backhand down the line.
Yeah, Rachel looked like she had a little bit of everything in game 1. The forehand very solid when Aziz went to what would be Rachel's left, but the backhand equally good. And one of the elements you talked about, we talked about this in the pregame, Sean, is how consistent Rachel Sung's strokes are. And I think you could see that in that first game. She never felt like she was. I never felt like she was out of position, and the stroke always looked like it was well under her control.
Yeah, just playing within herself, controlling and owning the angles, and getting her offense going. I completely expect Aziz to make some adjustments in game 2.
It was long on the first point, so a 1-0 lead for Rachel Sung here in game 2. She leads in games 1-0 as well.
That's a nice,
that's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, very well done. Nicely executed.
A good serve by Aziz into the net. And he leads 2-1. His first lead of the match. But evening it up quickly is Rachel Sung at 2-2. She'll take the serve. Left-hander, 16 years of age, out of Campbell, California. Open up a 4-2 lead. And sort of coming back across to Aziz, who's going to settle down with the towel break a little bit. They get 30 seconds on the towel break. Sean, one of the things I noticed about Rachel Sung, she goes to the penhold grip for many of her serves, something we've seen a number of the players do over the course of this competition.
Yeah, what she'll do is she'll change her grip in order to get a little bit more snap. It won't be a full penhold, but she'll put the racket really between her index finger and her thumb just to get a little bit more pendulum on that motion, and then quickly we'll go back to her shake hands grip for the next shot. So if you want to get more spin on your ball, you can actually
get a picture of it here.
Yeah, and that's very, very common on the forehanders. And that's an excellent backhand there by Aziz. Just really played it through, and again, the position out to Rachel's forehand, which tends to be the weaker location in her game.
Rachel now leading 6-4. It does look like Aziz is settling down a little bit. He may have been experiencing a little of the butterflies early going on. Not surprising. That's not uncommon. The first competition that either of these players have seen since early March.
Oh, and there was a great reply and return by Aziz, but Rachel up for the challenge and just put that ball away with her step around.
That was beautiful power from Rachel right down the line. Now has opened up another 4-point lead here at 8-4 in game 2, leading 1-0. She'll give herself a slight fan, and this time changing the serve a little bit.
And again, not easy playing against a lefty. The spin is changing. Rachel does a really nice job with the serve, and both those balls go long off of Aziz's racket.
And game point again for Rachel Sung is Aziz serve. Stays alive, but the ball goes off the net and out. 10-5, Aziz Zarehbin.
That's a nice third ball back there on the backhand side.
He draws within 4 here, but the serve shifting back to Rachel, where she's been very good. Aziz holds off there. Running off here now, what would be 3 consecutive to get to 10-7. Serve still with Rachel Sung and still with game point.
And Aziz not giving up, which is really what you expect when you see him play, whether it's at the U.S. Open, at the U.S. National, where he's been a giant killer. He just keeps coming back for more. So he's got the serve now. Oh, and a nice third ball attack on the forehand side. This could be a huge momentum shift if he can get back into this game. Oh, what a backhand combination there to deuce it up. And remember, there's no deuce.
Great point.
Exactly. Point.
Game point here for somebody. That somebody is Rachel Song who pulls it out. Nice little touch there. Spin, unable to handle it was Aziz Zarehbin after running off 6 consecutive points to get to 10-10, Sean. He drops the game 11-10, and Rachel Song takes a 2-0 lead here on the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge.
I mean, what a heartbreaking finish after having such a great comeback in the end of game 2. But Rachel played it very smart, 2 drop shots in order to stop Aziz from getting that opening attack. I think it just surprised Aziz that next ball didn't come off the end of the table.
Love the way Aziz battled back there. That is certainly part of this game, the capacity to have your back to the wall and be able to dig it out and come back. I'm wondering, Sean, whether a game like that gives him some confidence now, down 2-0, but coming into game 3, and whether he'll feel much more settled as he takes on Rachel Song.
I think really, Mark, just watch the body language, see if he views that as a missed opportunity or kind of some momentum building. But credit Rachel with the experience after dumping in a number of points to play the big point as big as possible. Now you got some side spin pushes there, and that ball was just jumping all over the place.
And the first point of the game does go to Aziz Zarehbin, leading 1-0. Taking a 2-0 lead here. Serve coming across to Rachel Song. Rachel on the board as that went long. Playing for Team Butterfly and trying to close out Team Attacker.
I know all of her teammates are watching this. The team will get an extra $200 each member if the season finishes this week. All of the members of Team Butterfly splitting the purse.
That was a good long serve by Aziz, but handling it beautifully was Rachel Song, and into the net goes Aziz, and now leads 3-2 here in game 3.
Oh, very cool serve there by Aziz. He set up as if he was going to serve with his forehand, but actually played it off the backhand side just to give a different look.
And it serves him well. He now leads by 2 at 4-2.
Oh, just a great point. Both players, again, we're talking toe-to-toe action. Aziz, very smart, staying right in the battle and not backing up early.
And Aziz, he seems to be using the momentum off that game too, Sean, now up 6-2 here in game 3.
Oh, he's just doing a much stronger job of forcing his game on Rachel. Great backhand attacks. Now serving from his backhand on the court. Oh, that one tipped the net and went long, but he's looking a lot more confident right now.
Rachel's gone down by 4 here in game 3, but up 2-0. Good backhand that time by Rachel. They draw within 3 at 4-7 and the serve. Went long. So coming up here with what would be 3 consecutive points, Rachel Song now at 7-5. Aziz Zarehbin trying to build some momentum here and get back into this match. Down 2-0. He's 14 years of age.
A great fight by Aziz. Again, terrific backcourt play, tossing the ball up with some extra spin.
Looked like Rachel had him there, Sean, and unable to put him away on the slam. He does that time. Draws back within 2. That's 6-8 and serve coming across to Rachel Song, leading 2-0. Of course, it's a best of 7. First player to 4 games wins the match.
Very smart move by Aziz. If he can get into the points with some offense instead of just playing safe.
short play, but Aziz dumps that one in the net, and back within 2 is Rachel Sung, 9-7. Aziz with the serve.
And we've seen, especially with the younger players, having difficulty with the consistency on the backhand side. Rachel's pretty much landed all her backhands. Aziz has been a little bit more sporadic, having issues getting that first backhand attack.
Great return that time by Rachel, and Aziz couldn't handle that one as well, and battling back to even things up at 9 is Rachel Sung, coming up with 3 consecutive points again. She was down 9-6, now has brought it within, or at equal, at 9-9, and the serve. Now, with game point is Rachel Sung, after being down by as many as 3, and the serve. Leading 2-0. Huge point. And Rachel Sung battling back from deep down against Aziz Zarehbin, ends up winning game 3, going up 3-0. And that was an excellent job, Sean, by Rachel. Again, back to the wall, able to kind of regroup, hit a number of quality shots, and ends up going up 3-0.
I mean, really the definition of girl power right there, by just bringing it right at the end, not giving up, not kind of tossing the game away and thinking about the next one, but just staying with it. And gosh, the nice forehand at the very last point to go 11-9.
Saw a little frustration, I thought, in the body language of Aziz Zarehbin. So this is a situation where you've kind of got to regroup, down 3-0. You got to start somewhere, Sean, believe me. And all of us have been there with our backs to the wall, and one of those things you dig in. This is where you learn a lot about yourself. So the youngster Aziz Zarehbin down 3-0, and still 7:57 remaining on the clock. So this may be one that if Rachel wins here, that we don't see the fast 5.
Right. No, I think the key for Aziz right now is to forget about that game totally and just play 1 point at a time and try to get this one game. Don't think about the match, but think about what do I need to do right now to kind of do differently what I did in the last game, which was build a lead and then kind of just sit and watch the last 5 balls go by me. Serve and serve return-wise, Rachel has had the upper hand. She's done a very nice job of getting the offense going, as well as mixing the serves up to give Aziz nothing really to work with.
Good serve that time by Aziz. Difficult to handle for Rachel, and he goes up 3-1 here early in game 4, down 3-0.
That's a nice forehand, and that's Aziz going to the right location against a lefty. You want to go wide out to their forehand, get him out of that backhand corner if possible.
That side again, and builds a 5-1 lead here in game 4 with the serve. Aziz Zarehbin.
Net serve.
Net serve.
Oh, beautiful backhand counterattack there by Rachel. Again, down the line, she's very comfortable with that angle. As a lefty, she sees it all the time against right. Oh, nice counter punch himself right there.
He's up to 3-point lead again at 6-3. Serve to Rachel Sung. Good serve, too. Difficult to handle that one for Aziz. Drawing within 2 is Rachel with the serve coming across the young Aziz.
And Rachel mixing it up after a nice spinny opening that Aziz kind of did a little bit of a defensive chop. Rachel just dumped it back short and gave him the spin. And now Rachel mounting her own comeback just like we saw in the last game.
3 consecutive points to even things up at 6, and we're going to get the timeout here. I did not see the umpire point to a particular player, but I'm guessing that it's Aziz Zarehbin here who's calling timeout, down 3-0, and having given up the last 3 points to Rachel Sung to have things go even at 6-6.
Definitely a good momentum timeout, stop the cut from bleeding even more. Aziz has made some very good counterattacks. He just needs to make sure he doesn't have any loose, easy points because Rachel's been living on the. They're not so cheap. It's just that she didn't have to do much to win those points. So Aziz has to get into the rally, get his offense going, make sure he plays it in the right location. At the same time, Rachel's done a great job on the service and return. Really good touch, mixing it up, giving Aziz a lot of different looks from the various spins.
All right, Aziz with the serve. It's 6-6, game 4, down 3 games to none. Of course, if Rachel Song, actually the serve is over to Rachel Song here. I apologize for that, but if Rachel does win, Team Butterfly will win the first season of the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge, and she takes the lead here, Sean, at 7-6. And when she's had the lead, she's been very difficult.
That was a nice backhand opening there by Aziz. On the prior point, it looked like Aziz got confused that the ball was out on his forehand side. He just kind of threw a top in there. But we're tied up at 7-all.
Oh, great shot by Rachel Song. Forehand down the line to the backhand side on young Aziz Zarehbin. Just blew it by him. And right now leading 8-7, Rachel Song. Evening it back up is Aziz at 8-8 here in game 4. Trying to stay alive.
And Rachel just so rock solid on the combination and the transition going from backhand to forehand, keeping the power. Oh, what a beautiful block there to the open court. Aziz made a wonderful shot to step around to get his forehand wide out to the forehand, but Rachel just stepped into it and played it to an open court to get to match point.
Match point and tournament point. Staying alive, Aziz Zarehbin at 10-9. A lot of team members for the Team Butterfly right now rooting on this point, I would imagine. And there it is. It is Rachel Song who ends up winning 11-9 in game 4 and sweeping young Aziz Zarehbin. 4 straight games she went 11-3, 11-10, 11-9, and 11-9 in game 4. And Sean O'Neill, it is Team Butterfly who will win season 1 of the T2 Challenge, brought to you on Thursday Night Live by USA Table Tennis. They end up winning 6 matches to the 3-4 Team Nataku. Congratulations to David Sakai and Team Butterfly.
And of course, Rachel also helped the battle of the genders going to the women to take that kind of extra title in there. But both players, great to see them out on the court, getting some action, getting a chance to win some prize money, getting a chance to really show what they have.
My Team Butterfly comprised of Kai Zhang, along with Sharon Alguetti, Adar Alguetti, Tal Leibovitz, Wang Huijing, Nikhil Kumar, Lily Zhang, then Joanna Song, and of course her twin sister. It is Rachel Song tonight in a 4 consecutive game sweep of Aziz Zarehbin that gives the win to Team Butterfly. What a great experience in season 1 of the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge. It's been a lot of fun here, Sean.
No, it really has. And I want to just thank all the helpers. I mean, from Westchester to Houston to ICC. It's been a real treat, of course, working with yourself, Mark, but then with the members of the national team, for everyone to be so supportive, to give us a chance to share some table tennis action with our fans and members.
Of course, we also want to congratulate and thank Patty Martinez-Wasserman, the captain of Team Nataku, and her team of Tom Feng, Lu Zhuan, Amy Wong, Jennifer Wu, Michael Tran, Zhu Jin in there, Adita Gadwani, Ved Sheth, who won last week, and thank as well to Aziz Zarehbin. Fought tonight, but unfortunately it was Rachel Song who had her game tonight. You noted it, Sean, but when Rachel had the serve in particular, she was particularly strong on her opening. The third ball, she was excellent.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw 2 games that had just huge momentum shifts. So, I mean, it was well played. I think the experience of Rachel controlling that serve and serve return, she won the 10-10 point, which was key after a great comeback by Aziz. So clearly, both players ready for more, and just been a real big thrill to be able to bring the Thursday Night Live T2 Challenge.
And we also want to extend our deepest thanks to the people at the Westchester Table Tennis Center, also at the Houston Table Tennis Academy, International Table Tennis Academy down in Houston, Texas, and of course, the great people at ICC in Milpitas, California. We could not do it without you. We are going to continue with our Thursday Night Live concept. The T2 Challenge is going to continue. We'll get more information out there to the fans on what our next step will be. We're already in the planning stages, Sean, of season 2. So if you're interested in participating in Thursday Night Live, keep an eye out. You may get an opportunity to play and be on the stream with us.
Yeah, no, it's been exceptional to work with our Singapore team. It's been just a real treat, and I can't wait for season 2 and maybe even season 3.
Well, I look forward to working with you again, Sean O'Neill, the High Performance Director of USA Table Tennis. I do want to extend our deepest thanks to the people in Singapore at T2. All the great work that they put in season 1 has made an exceptional product. It's been a lot of fun. It is Team Butterfly who takes season 1 6 matches to 3 over Team Nataku. For Sean O'Neill, I'm Mark Thompson. Thanks for watching, everybody. You've been watching Thursday Night Live, the T2 Challenge on the USA Table Tennis Network.